Ooh, this is exotic. Muscle Cat Media. Nice. Cultural.
Do we have a theme song yet? Because it's drafting day, baby. Rollsy, start singing. Get your musical, bones back in ya. Welcome to a Destiny Draft episode of Baseball Expats, where we will unveil, unwrap, uncoil 3 packs of baseball cards, and we will take a look at who's in there and draft a fantasy team by our own unique scoring method with a listener as well. We'll catch you up all on that on this week's episode of Baseball Expats. First off, a shout out to the regular fellas. I'm Eric. Rollsy, back from the United States. How was your trip?
Yeah, it was really good. I don't know that I ever want to do that again. 8-day trip to the U.S. with 3 flights there, 3 flights back. It's tough to get to the middle of America. So, but no, it was really good. I'm glad that you gave my 99-year-old grandfather a shout out last week. He look, he doesn't hear all that well, so he'll never hear that episode. But I did enjoy getting to spend some time with him. But yeah, no, it was good to be back. Good to be back at home. The one thing that I run into every time I go back to the U.S. is how shitty it is that baseball doesn't start until 7 p.m. How good is it that baseball's on at 9 a.m. when you live in Australia? I feel like we just take that for granted whenever you go back to the U.S. because it's 9 a.m. and you're like, oh, right, there's no baseball on for another 10 hours. So that's something I lament every time I go back. But all in all,
I actually completely agree with that assessment. I actually have fallen in love with morning sport. It's actually a great time to do it, and it's a nice clean separation between Aussie sport. You can just roll right into it on weekends. Go watch the Tigers in a dominating win at Leichhardt Oval and not have to worry about how the Cardinals are doing. Because they've already lost earlier in the day, so it's all sorted for you. Spoon. You made a great run. We'll get into the standings in a second. Welcome back to the pod, buddy. Big win for the. I'm sure you were out and about yesterday celebrating the male Matildas getting a big win over Turkey.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Probably more impressed with the defense than the attack. Even though the attack looked really good. Some people are starting to say Australia are going to win the whole thing. Not many people, but some people are.
I'm one of them.
Yeah, I'm a believer.
It's actually stats. Have you seen that every time? Like Turkey has lost in their 2 World Cups prior. The team they lost to went on to win the World Cup.
So they're like the Brewers of the World Cup.
Yeah, and Australia beat Turkey. So it's written in stone, my friend. Anyways, we're not here to talk soccer. We're here to draft a team. We'll bring in our next listener in a second. This is a 4-team comp now. But before we do that, let's do a quick recap of what happened last week. And it was a good one for the listener. The Canary ends up winning with 44 points. Spoon in second with 40. I had 36. Rollsy, he had 25. He was technically in the competition, but we'll go in reverse order. It brings the final standings or the current leaderboard on the season. Spoon with 7 points. Listener with 5, and I also have 5, but Listener has more season points than me, so they have the tiebreaker. And Rollsy third. We will debrief it in a second, but first, let's just hear from the winner of the week, Canary, and what he had to say.
There we have it, guys. We've reached the end of round 2 for Dynasty Draft. First off, I'll say I appreciate you guys having me on for it. I've enjoyed it thoroughly across the 2 weeks. I've obviously learnt a lot of new things about baseball since following this as well. So although it's good that I ended up getting the win in the end, I would love to be back on it in the future because obviously being around it now for a couple of weeks and seeing how batters actually play has increased my knowledge in the game. And I kind of got lucky by having a Tani as a pitcher. So I didn't really get to spread my wings too much in terms of knowledge. If I would say anything overall, I'd say one, I got pretty lucky. Spoon was pretty unlucky not to run away with a win here. He obviously had Judge on a 10-day injury list, so he was kind of running with only 2 players. And like I said, probably this time last week, between Atani only pitching twice and one of those games not being really his A-grade level, Wood ended up carrying me a bit. He was pretty painful across the first week, but he ended up getting me lots of points in week 2. And then Schmidt was maybe not in the best form over the last fortnight, but today he came through and carried me across the line with some crucial points at the end. So, you know, I can't really complain too much, but at the same time, I'm not really going around and gloating in victory. One, probably didn't deserve to get the win. I think Spoon might have deserved it in the end. And two, like I said earlier, didn't really get to spread my wings too much with my knowledge. But like I said, I appreciate it. I loved being on. Can't wait to keep following for the rest of the year. And hopefully I'll be back on in the future. Appreciate you guys.
Well, a big thank you for the Canary for taking part. But look, I want to debrief this week really, really quickly. And for me, the big takeaway, obviously, one is injuries, right? Like, I didn't have Dalton Varsho, missed out on some big points. Like, I had 33 points from Otto Lopez, 3 from my starter, and nothing from Varsho because he was hurt. Spoon didn't get a week of Aaron Judge, and he would have had like -3 points. No, he probably would have had 6 or 7 points, a bunch of strikeouts, couple home runs. And Spoon, it went down to the final day, which was pretty cool. But my big takeaway is that, like, if you know Spoon on an individual level, you know he's a big fan of like big government and government handouts and giving kind of breaks as much, you know, like, yeah, government handouts effectively. Like, you always hear him talk about, it's always in the group chat, you know, sort of supporting these little packages that are handed out. And true to form, that's exactly what he did to almost gift Canary the victory, right? Like, Spoon and I had to go and live through 2 weeks without our star player. But before game 1 happened, and it's just because before game 1 happened, Canary got to replace his injured player with Schmidt, and he ends up being the best player of the week, or the big difference maker of it. So, you know, big government Spoon, again, impacting the results, while the little guys, myself and yourself, Spoon, you wounded yourself in here, do it. So Canary won. We got to give credit. I haven't won a week yet, but it feels like not a legitimate victory. The new listener has an opportunity to do something that no listener's done before, and won by just the team he drafted originally.
It wasn't actually Casey Schmidt he got. It was James Wood. So James Wood really redeemed himself for the Grom week, where he anchored him to the cellar of the standings and put up 19 points, went crazy. I think he hit a home run every couple of days. It's up to 21 now in the season, which is really nice for me. But yeah, that was a little wrinkle in the rule book. And look, I'm a generous guy, so I was happy to give that one to our guy.
And
although 24 hours
fair,
later,
Spoon, like, because we kind of have shit on James Wood a little bit in this competition, but he came on good at the end of round 1, if you'll remember. He ended up with 15 points in round 1. Like, Grom I think he was pretty upset with how he was going, like, probably the first week of round 1. But, like, he ended up scoring 15 points and then backed that up in round 2 with, you know, another 19-point performance. So as much as we've shit on James Wood for being such a high strikeout guy, he has fared pretty well when selected, for the listener.
He does draw a lot of walks. Like, you know, he strikes out a lot, but he walks a lot too. And he hits lead off with an offense that scores more runs than anyone in baseball. So he does pick up a couple of runs, even if he doesn't necessarily go yard like he can, even with the strikeout. So yeah, James Wood maybe out of the doghouse as far as Destiny Draft's concerned.
Stephen Kolak for you was the star, right? Like 19 and a third innings pitched, picked up 21 points. Byron Buxton probably did what you expected, right? 15 hits, 11 strikeouts, drove in a few runs. Kolak definitely overperformed. Michael Wacha gave me almost nothing, just 2 in terms of pitching. Devin Williams was Rolsey's best player in his 4 and a third inning, which, I mean, Devin Williams getting 9 points was probably as we expected. But there is something to be said for relievers, is what I think we're learning in this evolution, because even the undrafted players, like Dylan Smith threw 4 and a third, Edward Cabrera threw 9, but these relievers all are high strikeout guys. So you might not get the innings pitched, but you're probably not allowing runs because they get the hook really, really quickly. So it's not going to balloon on you, and they strike guys out. So there is some evolution to the strategy with the relievers, I think.
Mauricio Dubon on the undrafted at 20, like that wins it for any of us, but no one's jumping off the ground to draft Mauricio Dubon in any format, let alone Destiny Draft.
Otto Lopez at 33 points was the star. He was my only player. I was Otto Lopez. That was
and
it.
we kind of knew that. I mean, Spoon and I both passed on him, and I think we both said the same thing. You go back and listen to the episode. I think we both said the same thing, that we were like, we're picking with heart over head, because, like, you could see it. Like, it was written in the database that Otto Lopez, because of the fact that he gets on base so much, and he doesn't strike out, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, I was banking on Nico Horner doing that simply because Nico was higher ranked, so that's the strategy that I used. But Spoon and I both said it when we passed on Otto Lopez that we probably should take Otto Lopez, and then here we are.
And here we are going into the next week. We do have a new listener. That's how it's going to work. Every 2 weeks, we're bringing in a new listener for it. Grom set a low bar. Canary assisted, did win with a gift of God, the hand of God, if we're using, some World Cup references right now. But the rightful winner, congratulations to the Canary. Your team was better than mine. Cool. Awesome. But we do bring in a new listener now. And this is another masked man hiding behind a name. We've got Spoon. We got Rolsey. I'm Eric. I don't even have a nickname. I'm just Eric. But we have the Commissioner. Commissioner. I mean, that's a big name. Commissioner, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Eric. I got that name by being Reese's commissioner in the Fantasy Football League that we participate in. So, yeah, it's a grand name. It's a grand title, but I take it very seriously.
I can tell. Well, okay. Well, then if you're saying you take things seriously,
NFL. I'm not cheating. You guys, I'm exclusive with both of you. Let's not make this weird. You're both my respective commissioners for different fantasy codes.
Spoon had a pretty good year in you could say in our fantasy football league. How do you go in yours?
He's currently doing quite poorly, I would say, or below average for sure. He's fighting to stay alive.
I'm lost.
To stay alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, things are just karma, I guess. You can't win them both, but you were dominant, you would say, in ours. So, big job from Spoon. Just like the Canary last week. Commissioner, you say you take things seriously. I appreciate that. This is a very serious pod and a very serious format. We'll go over for the rules in a moment here. But how have you been taking this honor of being the listener guesting spot seriously? What has been in your regimen, your routine leading into this?
Well, leading up to this, last week I listened to the show, wrote a few notes down. Been watching as many Diamondback games as possible. I don't get too many other ones. Reese has got me onto the Diamondbacks. He's doing a great job of recruiting people in Australia and Adelaide to baseball. So, yeah, one day we'll have to come out and listen to your dulcet tones, Eric, commentating the Giants.
Yeah, you're always welcome at West Beach, man. Maybe we can get some Diamondbacks prospects here one day, and you can go and curse them in person. We should mention this is a cursed pod.
Right.
I'd like to see Pavin Smith playing at the Giants.
Possible.
Get the bad man away.
This is a cursed pod. Players we will draft in this will get hurt. That is just an inevitability. So brace yourself for that. So if you pull a Diamondbacks, buyer beware, right? Maybe leave them on the bench so the D-backs on the 10 most important days of their season can stay healthy.
I will do.
Spoon, it's almost draft time. Before you rip the packages, do you just want to quickly go over the rules and scoring once again?
Yeah, so for first-time listeners, we're going to open 3 packs of Topps baseball cards. Each pack has 12 cards. There are some weird little insert cards in here, like Mr. Met and team cards and all those sorts of fun goodies for the kids that aren't eligible for our competition. So what we're usually left with is around 25 or so players to draft from. We're all going to draft 3 players. We have to take 1 pitcher, 1 hitter, and then a utility spot, which can be either. And then over the next 2 weeks, we'll score points based on their real-world performance. So for hitters, they'll get 1 point for every hit, every run, and every RBI, and they'll lose a point for every strikeout. And then for starting pitchers, or any pitchers, as Rolsey's relievers often make an appearance, pitchers will get a point for every 2 complete innings, a point for every strikeout that they accumulate, and they'll lose a point for every earned run. We've been pretty light on in pitchers the first couple of rounds, but good quality starting pitching can go a long way. It did for me this week unexpectedly. Canary got 2 great starts out of Ohtani, but the danger with him is he'll only make the 2 starts. Ideally, you want a guy who's going to get out there 3 times if you can make the schedule line up. And we draft in snake order and reverse order from the season standings, which means that we will go Rolsey, Eric, Commissioner, and then myself, and then bounce back around a couple of times till we all have 3. I think that covers everything. So if you guys are ready, we can rip the first pack.
Let's hear the sweet tones of you ripping open some baseball cards.
That's our theme song, just the crinkle. Alrighty. We have Jorge Soler. We have Bailey Ober. We have Marcelo Meyer. We have Tariq Skubal. Unfortunately, not quite back yet, but would have been the kind of guy Rolsey's looking to take to shore up his rotation right now.
He still could.
Still could. Future D-backs legend, Tariq School. We have Ronnie Enriquez, Will Banfield. Oh my God. We have Paven Smith. Someone has to draft him just so we can get that guy on the IL.
That's unbelievable.
This is just ridiculous. We have Sean Mania. We have Matt Shaw. We have the Washington Nationals. We have Otto Kemp. It's a nice looking Otto Kemp card.
I feel like we had
And
Otto
we
last
have-
week too.
Yeah. And we have Aaron Judge, who unfortunately is on the injured list, as I found out in top fashion last week. And I don't think he's coming back anytime soon at all. So he won't be really in the conversation here. Second pack. Oh my God.
Uh-oh.
I see the back name on the card when I open it. This is going to be a fun one. We have the Athletics.
Yeah.
We have Ronald Acuna Jr., another player who will
Whoa.
be superb, but his hamstrings are made of paper mache. We have Hunter Brown, who's a star, but he's injured. We have Roki Sasaki, who makes things very interesting. We have Skeens, Yamamoto, and Sanchez, which would be a little too overpowered.
Can I
so that has to
draft?
go
Can I
away.
draft that card, please? Can I have that?
We have Jose Soriano. Okay, the pitching is way better than we've ever had. We have Mackenzie Gore. We have Cesar Prieto, Cardinals rookie. Don't know anything about that guy, Rosie. You can maybe enlighten us. Wow, we have Fernando Tatis. We have one of the bad guys, Dalton Rushing. We have another card with Scooble, Brown, and Crochet. So this is a real pitch-heavy pack, but we can't have that one. And then, guys, once again, we have Shohei Ohtani.
No way. By the way, the Ohtani rule in this podcast is you can only draft him once because he's one card, but you can't have him as both a pitcher and a hitter. Can only be one or the other. Canary last week took him as a pitcher, which honestly was probably the right call, because if he had not taken him, he would have had to take a pitcher that wouldn't have given him some production. So that makes things very, very interesting.
Yeah, although I think, early days, we've got one pack to go. If you look at some of the pitchers on the board this time around, it's a much deeper pool of talent for pitching. So Rosie might be able to take Ohtani the hitter and then still get one of his guys when we loop back around to him. All right, third and final pack. We have Alejandro Kirk back in the lineup, doing good things for the Jays. Vibes are still up over there. Zach Maxwell, watch a lot of baseball, never heard of him. We have Joe Ryan. We have Kobe Mayo. Schwarber, Ohtani, and Soto. Jeez, these cards are ridiculous. Brandon Walter. Apparently he's a pitcher for the Astros. Jose Barrios, unfortunately on the IL. Cedar Rafaela, who I'm going to assume is Diamond Destiny draft poison because of his high strikeout rate. Trevor McGill from the Brewers. We have Will Warren. It's a nice Will Warren too. It's oh wow, it's actually pretty sick. It's numbered to just 99. It's a little green and silvery yellow parallel.
Oof.
That one's going on eBay.
Shiny.
We have Christian Yelich's greatest hits walk-off grand slam against the Red Sox. It's a pretty cool card as well.
So he just counted as Yelich?
Yeah, it's just a Yelich card. And then we have Samuel Basayo, the rookie catcher from the Orioles. Really good group here. Like compared to last week where, we were begrudgingly taking guys in the last round and some of the pitches that were coming off the board were not good quality. I think we've got a lot of top-level players to choose from this time around. It's going to make it really interesting when we get to drafting.
Well, let's take a moment, give ourselves a moment just to assess, strategize, and then we'll put Rolsey on the clock with pick number 1 after a quick break. Well, a very interesting pack rip indeed. More pitcher heavy than we've had. Now all of a sudden hitters might be at a little bit of a premium. Before we've kind of been rushing to take pitchers off the board. Be interesting to see how this plays out. Once again, draft order's simple. It'll go Rolsey, myself, then the commissioner as the listener, then Spoon. He'll go twice, back to the commissioner, to myself, and then to Rolsey again. Rolsey, you have some decisions to make. This is a tricky... We've had some pretty clear-cut first overall picks before. This is not. There's a few different ways you could go to this, which makes me kind of panic as number 2. So What are you thinking, my friend? Walk us through your mindset.
Well, look, I mean, I think it's silly to not take Shohei overall, and I was just looking at his numbers last week because he was great for the Canary. I mean, he had 15 points as a starting pitcher, but he only got the 2 starts. And look, is he really going to do more than 13 innings with 12 Ks and give up less than 3 earned runs in the next 2 weeks? Probably not. And in the last 2 weeks, he would have actually scored 29 points as an offensive player. So I think the fact that, at most, you're probably only ever going to get 2 starts from Shohei. And the fact that he is starting to turn it on offensively. And look, they've got the Rays coming up. Then they've got 2 teams that are under 500. Then they finish up this round against the Padres. And because of the fact that I think once we come around back to me for, what'll that be? Picks 8 and 9. I think there'll probably still be a decent arm on the board. So I think I've got to go Ohtani as a hitter first overall.
Interesting. I like it.
Yeah, I think it was the right call by the Canary last week to take him as a pitcher because of the lack of pitching depth, but it's a different kettle of fish this week, and I think that's the right call.
Okay, quickly, Spoon, who is number 2 right now on betting odds for NL MVP?
I think it's a tie between Corbin Carroll and Juan Soto. They're both 26s.
My professional recommendation is to jump on both of them right now because there is no way Shohei doesn't get hurt and he doesn't miss the next 6 weeks, which takes him out of the question. For this reason, we had him. You've double jinxed him.
If Rolsey was a real friend, he would have taken Pavin Smith.
It makes it interesting, right? I think I need to take a pitcher with my pitch is what I'm thinking, just because there's going to be 4 picks between mine. There are some good arms out there. There's a few guys that look like they're going to get a few starts. Like Mackenzie Gore is a probable to start later this week, and he can be a pretty high strikeout guy, but he's sort of boom bust. Jose Suriano, I really like, but I kind of sewered him on the podcast the other week. So I think I'm going to take future Toronto Blue Jay in a guy that I think will get 3 starts. Like he's starting on Thursday. So it should line up that he gets 2 starts next week so I can come home strong. Starting to pitch better. High strikeout guy. He's a top 40 player overall in fantasy. With the 2nd overall pick, I am selecting. Spoon, you know who it is?
Joe Ryan.
It is Joe Ryan, yeah.
Alrighty, over to the listener.
Well, this is very difficult stuff here.
It is.
I think there's actually not much hitting, but I haven't gathered myself enough to see which one I want to take. So I think I am going to go with tried and true Jose Soriano.
Yeah, that makes a bit of sense.
Yeah, he's been rock solid, right? And I think you might get close to 3 starts with him. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I was trying to have a look at that.
Despite the pitching a little bit. I have the opportunity to take 2, but I wanted either Joe Ryan or Soriano. If both guys came, I was going to take both of them and the guy I'm about to take. I can't take a Dodger for obvious reasons because I have a soul. But I know if I leave him, I'll leave him to Rolsey as well. Makes things interesting too. I could take a Yankee. It's kind of not the worst, but this guy started today for the Yankees, and that means I'll only get 2 starts from him over the next 2 weeks, most likely. Speaking of Will Warren, of course. On the hitter front, yeah, it's a little bit thin. There's some power there. There's some speed there. There's a leadoff hitter, obviously. I think my double pick, I'm going to go with, it doesn't really matter who's technically the first rounder, but it does to me and my mental state. I'm going to go Mackenzie Gore, and then I'm going to go Fernando Tatis.
Yeah, I figured you'd take Tatis. I figured that would be the go.
I think, the lack of strikeouts helps, and he's still kind of hitting the ball pretty well. I don't know what he's on for the season. He's ranked 180th.
But he's been good lately.
Yeah, he's got more hits than strikeouts. The home run total is slowly creeping up. I think he'll do a bit for me, and you're guaranteed to get 4 or 5 ABs from him every day, hitting in that leadoff spot on a pretty good offense.
Back to the listener.
Okay, this is I was hoping, yeah, like you said, you would take Pavin Smith, Reese, but unfortunately not. I'm going to have to go with... This is tough. Let's have a look. I'm going to have to go with Rafaela.
If he doesn't strike out, he could be okay.
Yeah, I mean, he runs like a madman. So when he gets on, he's usually in scoring position very quickly. It's just he's boom or bust with the strikeout numbers. The Red Sox are kind of heating up a little bit with the bat. They scored 20-something runs in the last 3 days against the Rangers, so he'll be a big part of that.
This is a tricky one right now for me. I'm debating whether I go. I think I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take a big risk here, but it could be a huge payoff. I'm just worried about how long he's actually gonna have a leash to pitch for. I'm taking 2 pitchers. I'm going this strategy. Spoon, any guesses? This risky pick, who it might be? It's one of your guys, though.
Ooh, are you
He's
taking
returning
Roki?
Tuesday. He could pitch 3 times, and he could give me a bucket load of points.
Scooble?
Nope. Hunter Brown.
Is he returning? Wow.
On Tuesday.
I missed that news.
Hasn't been back since March 31st.
Yeah,
but
strikeout wizard.
But if he is rolling, he is going to win me this thing. The other one is when does Scooble get back?
Yeah, I mean, he's making rehab appearances now, right? So he must be maybe a week or 2 off. Yeah, I mean, I feel like...
Oh, no, he started today.
He started today, yeah.
Scooble is back, but he'll only start twice.
Yeah, wow. I feel like this pool of players in another week or another round's time in 2 weeks would be epic, right? Because you'd definitely have Ronnie back. You'd have seen more from Brown. You'd have seen more from Scooble. I think it would be a little bit stronger than it is, but it's still quite strong. It's just the injury bug biting a few pitches at the moment.
Look, I'm going to go and bank it on pitching, right? I've got Joe Ryan, who strikes guys out, and I'm going to go Hunter Brown, and I'm going to be living on 6 starts from these guys and hope I peg something together from some nuffy that I'm going to have to hit as a hitter. So I'm going to double barrel the pitchers with Joe Ryan and Hunter Brown.
Okay. Back to Rosie for the double.
Interesting. I mean, friend of the podcast, Roki Sasaki, is probably the guy I have to take. I've essentially put myself in a corner, but again, for the reasons that I sort of liked Shohei. I mean, except for the fact that they've got to take on a pesky Tampa Bay side. I don't know if Roki will actually start against Tampa Bay. It would be ideal if he didn't. It may look like he may actually miss them, and Roki may actually get only 2 starts. Yeah, this is tough. That Scooble news is kind of intriguing me somewhat. But again, knowing that Roki's probably only going to get 2 starts, I'll take Roki Sasaki as my pitcher, despite...
You're going Dodger City.
Yeah. Well, there's so many
Dalton
reasons why
rushing, bro.
I shouldn't do that, but
Rushing.
I'll not be
Take rushing.
Dalton Rushing. That guy's a jerk. Yeah, look, we'll take Roki Sasaki, lock it in. Big Japanese theme on Rollsy's round 2 team. World champions from, 6 years ago in the World Baseball Classic or something. I love the pick of Rafaela because I actually think that he's not really, I mean, the last couple of weeks, he only struck out 6 times, which is sort of very against the grain for him. The best offensive player on the board currently is Christian Yelich, who would have scored 20 points in the last round, but the strikeout numbers for him have been outrageous. I mean, he had 16 hits, 4 runs, 6 strikeouts, or 6 RBIs, but 16 strikeouts in the last 2 weeks. But I think him being the best remaining player on the board that's not injured, I think I've got to go with Yelich as my offensive third guy.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. I was kind of eyeing off Yelich, to be 100% honest with you. There's another high risk, high reward guy that I've already taken. I haven't selected a what's it called? The guys that swing the bat. You know, I need a hitter.
Yelich is a crazy case, though, because, like, legitimately his season points are 48, and he scored 20 in the last 2 weeks. So he's
He could win you the thing or lose it to you.
Yeah, he's a massive risk.
I'm going with a guy who's played 2 games since March, pretty much. And again, it's a homer pick because it worked so well for me last time. But he's been seeing the ball pretty well in his return. I'm going to go with Alejandro Kirk as my guy. I mean, he might not. I think he'll get a few hits. I think where he bats in the lineup, he'll get a couple RBIs. Scoring some runs might be a bit tricky. But I'm going to go with Alejandro Kirk, and then it gives me something to cheer for while I watch the Jays over the next 2 weeks and wait for my 6 starts from Joe Ryan and Hunter Brown.
For the commissioner to close out his team.
Well, I was hoping to get Roki Sasaki, my guy. I like him a bit. He's the only member of the Evil Empire that I do like. But I'm just going to go boom or bust, I think. Let's just hope he plays and goes crazy. A man in wonderful shape, Tarek Skubal.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, it's
future
for a
Diamondback.
third round pick. I think it's the way to go, right? Like the fact that he's still there for you at the end. You've already taken your starting pitcher or your ace of the staff. Whereas I think if you were relying on him to be the only guy, it would be a little bit shakier. I'm just trying to really quickly see before I make my last pick. The most electric man in baseball, when will he be back?
Smith?
Back in Reno. There isn't an official return table.
It's such a shame that we've pulled Ronnie twice in 3 rounds and haven't been able to pick him, right?
He's so much fun, man. Like,
you can't pick him, man. He's not gonna play the next couple weeks. You might get him late next week, I guess, but
yeah, I can't roll the dice with that. I mean, this is tricky. Like, Soler's going to come back at some stage, but he's out at the moment. Basayo's really good when he's hitting the ball, but they also platoon him a lot with Adley Rutschman. They play both guys as catcher. I don't really want to be stuck with a hitter that's only playing 3 or 4 days a week. This is tough. I think I'm going to take Will Warren, which, leaves me with 2 pitchers, and one of them is definitely only going to make the 2 starts. So I'm really going to need Nando to keep things ticking over while I wait for Gore and Warren to do their thing. But I like Will Warren. I think he's sneaky underrated, given all the stars in that rotation. And Cam Schlittler's, stealing all the headlines. It's a rotation with Fried and Cole, but Will Warren's been doing it all year. So give me the Yankee, give me the Will Warren, and that'll close out our draft for round 3.
this is crazy because 3 teams have 2 starting pitchers each. So on Rolsey's team, not one of those teams. He's got Shohei, the hitter. Could have ended up taking him as a pitcher if you really wanted to, I suppose. But Sasaki as your pitcher, and then Yelich. I think this is a good team. Shohei will hit pretty good. Sasaki, I don't think he'll hurt your team. He'll put up maybe 8 or 9 points. The question that will win or lose this for Rolsey is how often does Yelich strike out? Because if he's hot, Rolsey probably has the biggest upside right here with Shohei and Yelich in the lineup, right? Like that probably has the biggest upside, but there's some risk of strikeouts in there, and one of those guys is getting hurt because it's the cursed pod.
Well, in round 2, I've just kind of done the math. If in round 2's points, so the last 2 weeks, the 3 guys that I've selected would have scored 61 points, which you think would be enough to win the round. But yeah, there's a lot of risk involved. But
well, they're not going to do it again. You're meant to buy the dip.
That's what I mean. You've got the highest ceiling, but you might actually have a low floor if Sasaki gets lit up and Yelich strikes out a bunch, right? So that's kind of the risk. I mean, but I like it.
The risk with Sasaki, I mean, he got blown up by the White Sox in his last start. So, I mean, it's always a risk with Roki, but he could also come out, strike out 10 and go 7. Like he's the floor and the ceiling for Roki is they're very far apart. So we'll see what happens.
My team is Joe Ryan, Hunter Brown, and Alejandro Kirk. And to be honest, I've got 6 starts. I'm probably hoping for 6 or 7 points per start on average. Would put me around that 36, 37 mark if they go well. And then Alejandro Kirk to contribute a little bit. Most weeks, 40 will probably be around the mark to get the job done. The risk here is that if one of those guys gets lit up, it's kind of a burned start. But I can't see these guys being too much of a negative. I just need a couple good starts. They should each get 3. I should be okay, but I don't think I have
a Brown injury return, right? Like what
risk.
Pitch count is he on? How deep do they let him go?
And there's no avenue for me to get 60 here, right? Like Rolsey has an avenue to get back in it in a hurry. I could be out of it and Seward quickly. Similar story for the commissioner. I mean, Soriano's a strikeout machine. I feel like Raphael, if he's not striking out, is going to be okay. Skubal is the X factor here. If he is the goods, that could be some big numbers for the commissioner. So, commissioner, you feeling okay about your team?
Yeah, not 100%. Like, it's all going to depend on Scooble, right? So it's a good man to depend on, I guess. But also, yeah, was looking at some of the vision of him in the minors, and he didn't look. Well, his pitching looked good, but he
Best
himself
shape of his
was
life.
quite rotund.
Yeah. How many pitches did he throw today? Because I feel like that's a good
He threw 80
indicator of what you
pitches,
can.
So I mean, they're clear. It's clear that they're going to stretch him. I mean, he didn't pitch all that well. He would have scored 4 points in that start, but he threw 80 pitches, so I don't think pitch count's any sort of issue.
And then Spoon, I like Tatis. He's been actually pretty good over the last month. He's been a top 30 player. I was looking at him. You're going to get something good from him. Mackenzie Gore, you get 3 starts out of. Will Warren is going to have to be your X factor here. I don't think you have a crazy high ceiling in this one, but you have a fairly relatively high floor. So there's a couple teams here that could fall apart in a hurry. So I think you and I are kind of banking on the same thing, that it's just like, let's just be steady. Guys do their jobs, and we're going to be around the mark in the end.
Yeah, and a reminder to everyone that, as Eric said, we do like to kill people on this podcast, or at least kill careers. We've only actually killed one man so far, John Sterling. But if we do have an injury of some description, we wake up here tomorrow in Australia and one of these guys is out, then you can redraft before the first game is played, and we'll update that on the show on the website with the scoreboard. If your player gets injured a day after, like what happened to me, then you just need to suck it up, because that's baseball, Susan.
BaseballExpats.com. There will be a live leaderboard. Boys, any final thoughts on this draft?
I don't love my team. It's the first time I've walked away from this and gone, okay.
Does anyone love their team? If you were to tip this, if this was on Sports Bet, who would have the shortest odds right now?
Rosie.
I think Rosie too.
The 3 of us otherwise are relying on some kind of form correction or injury return or both, right? Whereas Rosie's guys are kind of just doing it as is.
When you have the number 1 pick and you get to pick 3 guys in the first 9, you should have the best team on paper. That's why you get to go number 1. But I don't think he's the runaway favorite. I agree, on paper would be there. I think this is actually a more wide open destiny draft than we've had in other weeks, because nobody's going to be totally satisfied with the team. Like, you heard Rolsey make his pick. He was like, do I have to take Roki? Like, is that the guy I have to take? Are you serious? This is my second round pick and I have to take Roki?
The scoreboard watching is going to be really interesting, given how many pitches are in the mix, right? Like the first couple of rounds, we had guys ticking over every single day because we all had 2 hitters that were kind of doing something. But really, like, for the 3 of us, I'm watching Nando, and then I got to wait a couple of days for a guy to take the mound. So what kind of consistent production we get from our hitters is really going to shape the trajectory and the trend line and the sexy colored lines on the graph that the genie built for us on our website.
I can't wait for Joe Ryan to face. Oh no, he's just going to miss the start. It would have been awesome if he faced the Twins. They were playing each other. But Joe Ryan's going to get a start against the Rockies, which is kind of fun for me. And then, am I going to get Hunter Brown versus Joe Ryan potentially? I don't know if that lines up with the weeks. I think I just miss it. So we'll see. There's some fun matchups to be had for sure. I do wish the Dodgers were playing the Cardinals this week, though, just to send like Rolsey into a bit of a, crisis in his mind. I do get Hunter Brown versus the Blue Jays, though. Hunter Brown versus Alejandro Kirk.
Yeah, I didn't do as much schedule hunting as I have in the past with some of these guys. I did see that Gore's going to make 3 starts. One of them will be against the Rockies as well, which is usually a little cheat code. But I'm hoping maybe the Padres have a trip somewhere exciting, somewhere exotic. No, they don't. They got to play the Dodgers. Ugh. Tatis does love a big Dodgers series, though, so we'll see.
Ouch.
The Las Vegas series still going, Reese? Because that
finished today. Average 16 runs a game and 5.5 home runs a game in 6 games.
Viva Las Vegas.
It's actually great. I mean, we didn't really know much about it when we were drafting 2 weeks ago, but seriously, taking any of the guys that were in that series, like if you had any athletic player, if you had like Nick Kurtz, and what did Nick Kurtz get the last couple of weeks? I feel like he would have gone ballistic, right? Yeah. Well, if they ever go back to Vegas, we'll be ready.
Hey, how many points did Miz get in his start on the weekend?
What do you get? 15 strikeouts. So
he would have
15
had
plus
4 points for the innings plus the 15.
Yeah, so 19.
Oh my goodness me.
You literally can't have
Disgusting.
that. That's got to be the best DD game in history, right? What was it? Nick Kurtz who hit 6? He got 6 hits last year.
Points in a game.
Did Nick Kurtz
Woolsey
have a
had
6-hit game?
25 points in 2 weeks.
And despite doing that, having 19 points in one game, he was barely in the top 10 in terms of total points scored last week, which is crazy. Otto Lopez and James Wood, strangely enough, were both ahead of Jacob Mizorowski in terms of points scored just last week.
Who was the overall MVP of the last 2 weeks?
I had it pulled up just a second ago.
Not
I can
just
tell you
draft,
Jackson. I can tell you it was Jackson Churio for last week, and it was Churio for the last 2 weeks. 47 points in the last 2 weeks for Jackson.
Would you put on
Churio.
Alvarez close?
Yeah, he was third, 39 points.
Yeah, okay.
It's the thing about pitchers, right? Is they're never going to be in the top, but if you get 2 quality ones, like
It's when you get them. Yeah.
it's when you get them. And yeah, like Matt Chapman got like 20 points in one game. So, his 39 points is, right there. Anyways, boys, it was a pleasure drafting with you. Look forward to catching up tomorrow to do a proper episode and get some picks in so we can make some money. But for now, our hopes rely on a couple. We're going to be pitcher watching. It's like we're Spoon's best bets again all over here. Just watching the strikeouts roll in. Fellas, a pleasure as always.